with Nancy, we created clarity and we implemented structure and flow, and she was doing really well. So now what we needed to do is take a look at the kinds of folks who are around her. Now, some of you have the luxury of choosing who you work with, and most of you do not. So it's important to try to cultivate those around you as much as you can to help them with their time as well, because usually our colleagues can suck a lot of our time away if they're not very organized and if they're not very efficient. So it does make a difference about who you have around you. Now, I'd like to tell you a quick story about how important it is to choose wisely when you're choosing the people you have around you. Several years back, my husband and I decided to go on a bucket list trip. Forever and a day, we had always dreamed about going to Paris for Christmas and New Year's. And after watching a friend of ours pass away at a young age, my husband and I looked at each other and we said, you know what? Life is too short. We need to go. And so we planned everything, hotels and routes and all that kind of stuff. And a few weeks before we were leaving, we realized, you know what? We may have some issues. Number one, we don't speak French. Number two, we hear that they can be really rude to Americans. Are there any French people in here? Okay. They can be really rude, so, oh no, what are we going to do? Well, fortunately, a few weeks before we left for this trip, we met this wonderful Frenchman at an event. So I was talking to him, we had wine, we were laughing, and after about 30, 45 minutes, I figured, I think I feel comfortable enough with him to ask him, and I did. I said, sir, my husband and I are going on a bucket list trip, and we've heard that your countrymen can be a little rude to Americans. Do you think you can give us some survival tips so we don't offend anybody and we don't get thrown in jail? And he said, oh, oui. Number one, always start the conversation in French. Uh-oh, we don't know any French. Number two, always be formal. Use madame for miss and monsieur for sir. Okay, I can do that. Number three, always be polite. Say, s'il vous plaît for please, and merci for thank you. I can do that. Oh, but make sure you are aware of number four, which is the French can-do attitude. And it looks like this. And that is French for, you can do it on your own. I said, well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate your time. And it was very helpful. Now, on this trip, we wound up in a small town called Chartres, just outside of Paris. And there was no nightlife in the area that we were staying. All the businesses closed early. So my husband and I decided this is the spot where we're going to do laundry. There's nothing else to do. And then we'll end up back in Paris on New Year's Eve with a suitcase full of clean clothes. Unfortunately, the hotel clerk was cartographically challenged, and the map that she drew for us did not take us to a laundromat. So we walked around for an eternity, and by the time we accidentally found a laundromat, we were tired, we were cranky, we were hot and sweaty, but we couldn't take off our winter coats because, being geniuses, we had decided to do all of our laundry. So, real smart. We walk into the laundromat and we're mortified to see that all of the signs were in French only, nothing in English. We had no idea of how to start a machine or how to even buy soap. So I spot this lady in the corner and she has a mop, and I figured, oh, she must work here. So I go over and in my best French I say, pardon-moi, madame, hamon, s'il vous plaît? She looks at me and replies, so I go back over to my husband, and using our limited Spanish skills, we interpret enough words and we figure out how to buy the soap and how to start the washing machine. So we settle in for this nice, relaxing evening in a laundromat, and I get out my phrase book to practice, and I realized that I had asked the lady with the mop for ham in Spanish. Stupid American. Now, the night proceeded, and my husband's filling out postcards as we watch all the residents from the apartments above the laundromat come down, take their clothes out of the washing machines, and then take them back upstairs to line dry. And after a while, there are just two machines running. Our dryer with about 12 minutes left, and then this washing machine off to the side. When suddenly, this washing machine blows open, and there are clothes, there's water all over the place. So my husband goes running for that mysterious mop, and I go over to the clothes. I'm starting to shovel them in, when suddenly I came across the most beautiful lace bra I'd ever seen, obviously owned by somebody more voluptuous than I, and I'm holding it up to the light to admire this work of art, and I hear this voice from behind me yell, "Stop dreaming! Clothes!" So I finished getting all the clothes into the washing machine, but it was too late. There's water everywhere. So my husband comes sloshing over, and he said, "The closets are locked, there's no mop." And we stopped and we looked around for security cameras. There aren't any. So that means these two stupid Americans are going to get blamed. We got to get out of here. We can't take mugshots naked. So I ran over to the clothes and scooped them into the bag. My husband grabs the postcards, and we run out of there onto the street and realized we were lost when we got here. We have no idea where to go. So my husband spots the only light on the street, which happened to be a cafe. So we go running over there. And thank goodness the waiter spoke English. We entered, and he said, "Welcome, please leave the coats by the door." "Oh, no, merci." So we sat down, and in times of great stress, my husband and I find that wine and cheese are very much comfort foods, and we really needed comfort at this time. Using my best French once again, I said, "Excusez-moi, monsieur, s'il vous plaît, fromage and vin rouge?" "Oh, no. Fromage, cheese is for dessert. First, you must order the appetizer, and then you must have the entree, and then you can have fromage, cheese for dessert." Oh. My husband and I looked at each other. We looked back at the waiter, and we replied. So I repeated, "Fromage and vin rouge, s'il vous plaît." He brought it over, and when my husband and I had our wine glasses, we toasted to teamwork. Because no matter how physically strong you are, or how fiercely independent you are, or how smart you think you are, when you're about to become a part of an international incident, or maybe you're even facing the greatest opportunity of your career, you always want to make sure that you surround yourselves with the best people. So you want to do the A in CIA, which is assemble your team.